because of that temptation, what does that temptation lead to? If we focus on this world, if we focus on the things that we see, what could that lead us to? Well, yes, obviously, yeah, it's gonna lead us away from the Lord. But what other things that I guess it's all under that. I think that would be the umbrella point. But more specifically, what would that lead to if we focus on the physical? We as Christians, Joe? Yeah, pretty much. If we think of some specifics, I'm thinking if I get caught up in focusing on the physical, I'm just going to start thinking that, you know what? I'm going to make this my heaven on earth. You know, in other words, this is going to be more of importance to me. The fun is going to be more important to me than the spiritual. I saw a hand here just a moment ago, Tim. Okay, absolutely. Warren? That's exactly what's going to happen. You're going to want to be loyal to the boat, and you have to get your priorities right, as Joe was just mentioning. And that's really the point that he was talking about here, because I think really the thing that we need to understand, which the world doesn't understand, and maybe we as Christians forget to understand, is how he could say what he said in verse 17. For our light affliction is but for a moment. Our light affliction is but for a moment. Light here making reference to that which is easy. Hey guys, your affliction's been pretty light. Huh? Pretty easy? Your affliction's been pretty easy? Anybody really have any really tough physical situations they faced in life? Have you? I mean, I have. So why use the term light? And say they're but for a moment, man. Temporary, I like that. What else? I think it's some really important things that we need to keep in mind. There you go. What we're talking about, compare, and then we think about what Jesus went through, and there's yet but a third. The reason why we'll call it light. And of course, compared to what were you going to say, Mike? And then there's a fourth. Okay. and it's good. Now? Okay. And what are you thinking about? Yes. So there were four. Okay. Yeah, that was it. So all those things play together. And keeping our eye on the mark is the whole. I mean, that's why he could say what he said. That's why we don't lose heart in verse 16. Even though our outward man is perishing, and he uses that in contrast to verse 17 with light. You know, our outward man is perishing. It's suffering. We're going to spend in the 5th chapter talking about this tent, how it groans, and how some of the frustrations that we face. It's just going to come with age. We have that to face it. But he talked about how that our outward man is perishing, but the inward man is being renewed day by day. Guys, quickly, how does your inward man get renewed day by day? Quickly. List a bunch of things. How are you going to strengthen that inward man? Give me one, EJ. Praying is going to help you. Secondly, Dave, studying the Word of God. What else? Give me a third one, Nancy. Coming together and worship God. Of course, we don't do that every day, but we can see how that's important to us. Even association outside, you know, the body of Christ. You know, that helps strengthen us. And we have all kinds of communication. Do you guys ever get encouraged when you get an email from one of us? You know, you get that communication, a phone call, a card, you know, these kind of things. You know, it renews us. Anything else that you can think of that's going to strengthen you day by day? We've got prayer, we've got study, we've got being with brethren, we've got assembling. Is there anything else that's going to renew you, Dean? Okay, and I think with your priorities, I'm just going to talk about the idea that the more that you're pleasing God, doesn't that strengthen you? I mean, if you know you're pleasing God, you're going to be encouraged, and that's going to strengthen your faith. Anything else that you can think of that's going to renew the inward man day by day, as he talked about it. And I'll tell you something else that's going to play into this. What renews you is being an active Christian. When you are using your talents, when you are let's say you are letting your light shine, and when you're actually giving an answer for the hope that's within you, or if you're having a chance to teach somebody, well, I tell you, nothing picks me up. I shouldn't say more because I don't want to say more than worship and more than prayer, more than study. But just as an example, I'm going to say nothing really heightens my day is when I come home and like I told Debbie this week, first study with the gentleman, I go, man, if there's ever such thing as a perfect very first study, we had it. I mean, you just come out of there, are you strengthened? Yeah. Are you encouraged? Yeah, absolutely. And we're talking about things, guys, that we need to help us stay on the straight and narrow. Dave? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Preaching the word, having studies, planting and watering, and God giving the increase. But the point is, all these things are going to help you and I. And he says here, we need that inward man renewed day by day, because if you don't, we know what's going to happen. That's what we're talking about here, guys. It's a daily effort. You get out of bed, you know what? I got to stay focused. I've got to think of ways to be renewed. What do you guys do every day, usually 3 times a day? What are you doing that for? Yeah, I mean, do you ever notice when you're gone, you've skipped some meals? How do you feel? There's the word. I'm weak. I'm telling you guys, if you're not going to renew the inward man day by day, so I skipped a day. Well, I didn't really know. I kind of forgot, my priorities today. The danger is you can get your priorities tomorrow. Day by day is important with all the things that we've talked about here, strengthening ourselves. And so, because as Mallory mentioned, because this light affliction, which is for a moment, is working for us a far more exceedingly eternal weight of glory, and we don't look at the things which are seen. Because the things which are seen, as somebody mentioned already, are temporary. And give me a passage that tells you everything you see is temporary. I need a passage. Everything you see is temporary. I need a passage. And don't quote this one. 2 Corinthians. 2 Peter chapter 3, right? Verse 10. That this world is going to be consumed. This world is going to be burned up. The world will have served its purpose. Our premillennial friends, Lord is going to come back someday, and He's going to establish His kingdom on earth. Well, first of all, the kingdom's already here. But second of all, come back to what? Yeah, He's going to come back. We're going to rise and meet Him in the air, but we will leave this earth. The earth was meant to be temporary. We need to understand that. And that's in line with what he talked about here. But the things which are not seen are eternal. That's the glory. Our treasures which are in heaven. Dean?
The last thing I want to say, the biggest thing that my friends look at, right? And that comes with, as you get older, more responsibility. You start out with got to you got this, and that gets bigger and bigger. And that's a motivation too. You know what you're going to keep that right. Keep the word continuing, and don't forget how you're supposed to treat people.
I think when you're talking about that, all that we talked about, we're about to go into the 5th chapter. I'm going to leave this behind. But when I think about our inward man needs to be renewed day by day, it's kind of like if any one of you were on a family trip and things were really serious. I can't help but think when Leah and I, she's out of the room right now, but Leah and I, I've told you guys this before, that we went camping. She's the only one who likes to camp. And we got into this little cove, but when we had to cross this huge lake, the wind had come up, and it was very, very dangerous. I didn't want her to see the fear on my face. So I'm acting kind of casual. We're going to make it. Okay, we go a little bit and then go with we go back into the wave. You don't go like this or they roll you over. So you go and you go do a little bit at a time. I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to do this for her. That's what Gene's talking about. Renewing myself day by day, the motivation for that is, you know what? I've got my family and my friends. What do my family and friends see are my priorities? What do my kids see what's really important to Dad? What's really important to Mom? What do they really see is the most important thing in their life? Now, we have to let them see the big picture, of course. Now, if I'm walking with my grandkids in Disney in September, and somebody says, "What do you think your papa thinks is most important?" If they did it, well, no, we don't. That they're seeing for the moment. But I'm trying to get us to see the big picture. How do we, from day to day, where do our priorities lie? What do they see? And we need to make sure that we're mindful of that, because I think that helps us renew ourselves from day to day. The motivation that was mentioned. Mallory mentioned that word, being motivated. All right, we're going to read the next 8 verses in chapter 5, the next 8 verses. So let's start over here with 10, and we'll go backwards. 2 verses apiece.
We know that if the earthly tent, which is our house, is torn down, we have a building from God, a house not made with hands, eternal in the heavens. For indeed, in this house we groan, longing to be clothed with our dwelling in heaven. Indeed, having been clothed, not to God, we who live in God, in faith, not because we want to be clothed, but so we clothed.
Now the humans together for this very thing of God, who also has given us the Spirit of the guarantee. Therefore, we are also confident knowing that while we are at home in the body, we are absent in the Lord.
All by faith, not by sight,
I love this text. I mean, there's just this. You talk about renewing yourself day by day. This particular study. I mean, this is just so rich. We know that if our earthly host, this. Okay, I don't want to hear your wife say host. Okay, we know that if our earthly host, this tent, is destroyed. If our earthly host, this tent, is destroyed. Come on, Paul. Everybody's earthly house is going to be destroyed, right? Wrong. Why, Tim? He used that. Remember, he talked about that in 1 Thessalonians chapter 4. When Jesus comes back, those who are in the grave, right? Those in the grave rise first. And then we which are alive, Paul, you're saying we. Well, Paul didn't even know at that time whether the Lord might come back in his lifetime. You don't know if the Lord's going to come back in our lifetime. Maybe he won't. You might think, I don't think he's going to come back in my lifetime. Okay, fine, but I just want you to understand, somebody's going to be alive when Jesus comes back. And those that are alive will rise and meet the Lord in the air. And so, that's why he's talking about, this earthly tent. Hebrews 9:27, it's appointed unto men what? Once to die. Are you guys going to die? What did we just talk about? Probably or maybe. If the Lord doesn't come back. If the Lord doesn't come back in, let's say, the next 100 years, let's play it safe. If the Lord doesn't come back in the next 100 years, are you guys going to die? Maybe not Lucinda. But, we're going to die. It's going to happen. And so this reality is there. And so he's saying in this, we know that if our earthly house, this tent, is destroyed, we have a building from God. And so his assurance is, okay, if this dies, it's kind of like when Jesus was comforting his followers, fear not that those that can kill the body. Well, yeah, but if they kill the body, I've got nothing. You don't fear those who can kill the body. You see, you have a soul that nobody can destroy. Who's in control of that soul? That's kind of a twofold question. But basically, who's in control of the destiny? Well, that's twofold too. Answer both ways. Nancy? Right. Right. And it is our choice. We're in control. Obviously, God is the one who decides, right? But it's based upon something. It's not like a surprise. I mean, I just don't know if I'm going to make it or not. Well, no, you can know. You can have that confidence that he's actually talking about in this section. Guys, I want us to leave here today, and don't even wait till you leave here today. I want you to have that confidence right now. I want you to have that confidence right now that if the Lord were to come back, you're ready. Now, if you can't have that confidence, there's something wrong, and you need to take care of it. Now, you don't have to have a false hope, because there's a lot of people gathering this morning who are saying, I'm ready, and I'm sitting there from a biblical point of view going, you're not. You don't want him to come back when you're in an unprepared state. And so we need to make sure about that. So he says here, we have a building from God, a house not made with hands, eternal in the heavens. Okay? We have something, that spiritual tabernacle that can never be destroyed. This outward man is perishing in our previous chapter. We're just going to get old. We get the aches. We get the pains. Guys, you can eat all the right foods in this world, but the bottom line is you're going to grow old and die. Okay? It's okay to be thinking in terms of your quality of life. That's not so bad. Okay? I mean, matter of fact, we're encouraged to be mindful of that. But here he is talking about this in verse 2. For in this we groan, earnestly desiring to be clothed with our habitation which is from heaven. So basically he's saying that while we're in this tent, now is the time to what? While we're in this tent. This body, this shell. Well, why don't I just wait until I'm unclothed? Then you're found naked. Okay. In his analogy, you don't want to be found unclothed. You want to be clothed right now. How can you be clothed right now? How can you be clothed? Spiritually. By being in Christ. A person who obeys the gospel, a person who's walking in the light, a person who's faithful to the Lord. It's not a person who says, well, I've been baptized. Well, that's nice. Okay. But there's responsibilities after you come up out of the water of the baptism. You have to walk faithfully. You need to live faithfully till death. Really? Well, that's what we've been talking about. Remember, he talked about renewing that inward man day by day. Well, why even bother renewing that man if it's once saved, always saved? If you don't have to worry about it. What I see Paul talking, and of course he's using his own life as an example. This is what's got me through this. Because I'll read the examples of Paul, and later on in this chapter, in this book rather, and think, Paul, how did you put up with that? And I'll see brethren today, and I'll hear some of their hardships. I'll go, man, how do you put up with that? It's almost like I'm wanting to give them permission to not be faithful. And how do you put up with that? You be quiet. He's actually telling you that's how you need to act, Chuck. You need to put up with it. And how you do that is to walk by faith and not walk by sight. A person that walks by sight, folks, he has tunnel vision physically. All you can see is the physical. Remember last Sunday morning sermon? All we can see is doom and gloom in the world. Blah, blah, blah. Bad, 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 bad. Don't you see any good? I saw somebody post something on Facebook the other day when they talked about all the bad in the world, and it said, Lord, please come back now. I didn't do it, but I wanted to write on there, no, not right now. I'm studying with some people. You know, really. I mean, if you don't look at the good that's out there, you know, I understand that selfish attitude, but you don't walk by sight. You walk by faith. And that's what the verse that Joe read that we're going to get to maybe sometime today. Okay, so in this we groan earnestly desiring to be clothed. Do we groan earnestly? You know, I've seen people, you know, I'll go to shop, you know, I don't want that shirt, don't want that shirt, want that one. I'll take that tie, you know. We're kind of picky, you know, or we get up in the morning, you know, I just want to get something on. Do we have that? He talked about here, groan earnestly desiring. With that earnestly, where we read that before, Jude 3. Earnestly contend for the faith. Do you earnestly groan? I mean, are you saying, I want to be strengthened? You know, we have Bible studies throughout the week. We come out on Wednesdays, and sometimes we have them in different ones' home. It's great. We had one with Bernice this week. You know, when we left that class, we were just smiling, kind of feeling good. You know, you feel bad after a Bible study? Something wrong, you feel bad after a Bible study. Now, I saw a hand. Dave? Yes. Yes. Okay. Look at verse 3. If indeed, having been clothed, we shall not be found naked. I have to expand on that. Talking spirit. For we who are in this tent groan, being burdened, not because we want to be unclothed, but further clothed, that more mortality might be swallowed up by life. Who read last? Okay, TJ, can you quickly turn over to 2 Timothy chapter 2? I got 2 verses there I'd like for you to read. 2 Timothy chapter 2. He's going to read verses 11 and 12. And then I'll come back and we'll talk about verse 4. I love that. I love that. I mean, we died with him, right? I mean, we put off the old man, we put on the new man, we rose up in newness of life, we're a child of God. And here he is, he's talking about, we who are in this tent, we groan being burdened, not because we want to be unclothed. No. It's this idea that I understand, and I didn't get, that's why I wasn't angry with the person, Lord, please come back. I mean, this person, just like the rest of us, who doesn't want to go to heaven? Who doesn't hate the sin in the world? We're supposed to. The psalmist said that. Therefore, I hate every false way. Psalm 119, 104. And I hope we hate every false way. I hope we're not enjoying it and feeling comfortable around it. Of course not. So we long to go to heaven. We long to put off this shell and be in a better place. I get that. But we don't have a choice in that matter right now. And that's what Paul's talking about here. But further quote, that mortality might be swallowed up by life. That kind of reminds me of a passage that we'd already studied over in 1 Corinthians chapter 15. 1 Corinthians chapter 15, guys. Let's see, there's so much we can read on this. I don't want to take up a lot of time. We'll look at verse 35 of 1 Corinthians 15. But someone has said, how are the dead raised up, and with what body do they come? Foolish ones. What you sow is not made alive unless it dies, which is what TJ just read. And what you sow, you do not sow that body that shall be, but mere grain, perhaps wheat or some other grain. But God gives it a body as he pleases, to each seed its own body. All flesh is not the same flesh. There's one kind of flesh for men, another for animals, another for fish, another for birds. There are also celestial bodies, terrestrial bodies, but the glory of the celestial one and the glory of the terrestrial is another. Let's move on down. Look at verse 42. So also the resurrection of the dead. The body is sown in corruption, but it is raised in corruption. Move down to verse 52. In the moment, the twinkling of an eye, the last trumpet, the trumpet will sound. The dead will raise incorruptible, and we shall be changed. For this corruptible must put on incorruption. This mortal must put on immortality. Okay, and that's what we were just reading over here in verse 4 of 2 Corinthians chapter 5. That's what's coming for us. Are we prepared? And are we ready? Do we have that longing? Or do we love the world as the way John warned about? Don't love the world or the things that are in the world. Does that not mean you can? Is that saying you can't enjoy a vacation? Have you ever loved seeing some sights in this world? I mean, you probably have seen some glorious things. I remember my son when he left us and he was driving to California and he was coming through the state of Utah and he called up and said, "Oh, if I had a chance to move somewhere, I'd be right here." I don't know what he was looking at, but he apparently was just gorgeous. We've seen a lot of things. Why isn't that really loving the world? Mike? Okay. Could seeing Niagara Falls become that, though? Become something bad? How could it become something bad? Somebody tell me, how could seeing Niagara Falls become something bad, and it is loving the world? Nancy?
Concerned by that instead of this and things like that. You have to real, like, you have to do this, you have to hear it, look at the beautiful fall, it's great, it just consumes.
There you go. How are you? Kim?
Water is anything else. whatever items you can, and God will be, not attending services, to go do school, or to go do whatever it is. Whatever we're doing out to consume a life.
Yeah, it's almost like if you go to somebody's house and they've got pictures all over the wall. Look at that. I was standing at this spot, I took this picture of Niagara Falls, this spot of Niagara Falls. You got all these pictures over there. How's your prayer life? Oh, I don't have time for that. So how's your study habits? Well, I don't have time for that. But look at this shot. Look at this shot. It's like if you're all consumed, and that's all you live for. It's like Tina said, it could be anything. It could be golf. You really don't have to do that regularly to be good at it. But just a side point. So anyway, the point is, anything can become your God. And we're not like that. We as God's people understand that we want to go to heaven. Look at verse 5. Now he who has prepared us for this very thing is God, who also has given to us the Spirit as a guarantee. Well, now that guarantee, kind of similar to what the word that we use today, but it's that assurance, that removing that doubt. Who doesn't like a guarantee? Man, you sell me something, all I need to hear is, man, it's got a lifetime warranty. Well, I got a new air conditioner put in. Lifetime warranty. I love that term. Lifetime warranty. So, question is, how does the Spirit give you that, as he describes right here? You guys will know the answer. God has also given us the Spirit as a guarantee. How does that work? Once they go, what's talking about this? How does the Spirit give it? How did he give? What does giving us the Spirit as a guarantee help us with being clothed? Joe?
We're guaranteed what the word
Okay. It's all part of it. I mean, where would you be without the Spirit? Where would you be without the Spirit? Lost. Somebody say lost? Yes, lost. We're lost. Why are we lost, man? Without the Spirit. Yeah, it's like, okay, go over there. Well, I need a map. No map. Go get it. I need a map. And the Spirit of truth is what it's called, right? The Spirit of truth guided the apostles into how much? All truth, okay? And so we have access to so you have that Spirit of truth, and that Spirit as a guarantee, there it is. Now, guys, you guys know exactly how this all works. I got a lifetime warranty on my air conditioner. However, what? ... Fill something in there for me. Andrew?
You have a maintenance warranty because with it they come out every year.
That's good. That's part of it. Anything else? No?
Yeah.
However, if you picked it up and threw it down and you wanted to clean the base of it and then you picked it up and threw it back down, what happened here? Well, I was just doing some own personal maintenance or whatever. Or I ran into it with the lawnmower. Come on, it's a lifetime warranty. Yeah, but you brought that on yourself. You have to use your homeowner's insurance for that. Yeah, there's the conditions upon that. So the Spirit, and this is the problem that really bothers me, because in the religious realm, this is where people have removed personal accountability. We are responsible to study, to understand. Well, I can't understand it. No, God gave the Spirit of truth, so we have it today. No. Chuck, I need the Spirit so that when I read it, now I understand it. No, that's not the way it works. Why would God say, okay, Spirit, Holy Spirit, guide the apostles into all truth, but put it like the Da Vinci Code. I mean, I want you to make it so obscure, nobody could understand what you're writing, what you're revealing, and then come upon the individual, now he can understand it. Why would God do it? It doesn't make any sense to provide us something you can't understand, but now the Spirit is going to help you understand. Doesn't make any sense. So, answer me this question, which somebody would ask me. Chuck, how come people don't understand it? Is it the Spirit's fault? That's it? They don't want to. Could they? Could they want to? Can anybody in this world who wants to know the truth find it? Can I have a passage for it? That's it. Matthew 7. If you seek, you will, maybe you'll find it. If you seek, you will find. If, and the thing is, you can open that up not only to truth, you can open it up to error. If somebody's looking for error, can they find it? I mean, if you want to look for, if you want to be deceived, could you be? I mean, the point is, it's out there. God will send a strong delusion that you'll believe a lie. If you're looking to believe a lie, it's there for you. So what are you actually seeking for? I've been in Bible studies where somebody says, Chuck, I just want the truth. Just tell me it like it is. I'll say, oh, I don't want that. Well, I thought that's what you wanted. You said you wanted the truth. There it is. That you may what? Grow thereby. That has to be the desire. I don't always know. I've gone into a Bible study. People say, Chuck, I've got an open mind. I just want to learn. Sounds good. Sounds like it's a win-win situation. Because I'm the same way. But it doesn't take you long where a person goes, oh, but I feel that this is okay. Red flag. You got a problem. Houston. You can't say, but I feel when the Bible says this. Or, well, what about what they... Hey, look, I'm not here to convert the whole world. I try, but right now, one-on-one. Guys, one at a time. And it's tough when a person wants to look beyond themselves and beyond the Word. Just stay with the Word and you'll know it. What did he say? Verse 6. So we are always confident, knowing that while we are at home in the body, we're absent from the Lord. Well, of course. Are you in heaven? You are not in heaven. You can stand before the Grand Canyon. You are not in heaven. As Mike said, I stood before it. It just looks like a bunch of rock. I said, let's go. It wasn't like, where were all the big redwoods? I mean, that's, when I looked at that, I mean, there was something tangible. There's things growing. That's just a big hole. But that's just me. That's just me. But the point is, whatever you're looking at, you can say, this is heaven. No, it's not. It's not. Not even close. And so we know that while we are here, we're absent from the Lord. But there needs to be that longing. You guys ever have that absence? You've been separated from family and you're just aching? Have you had that ache? I mean, guys, have you ever experienced that ache of missing family? Do you have that ache for heaven? I have that ache. I have that ache. I want to go. And if I had a choice, I would go today. Your first grandson is going to be born. You wouldn't go today if your life depended on Chuck. I said, no, I would go right now. But I don't have a say. Now, if I happen to be around when he's born, that's great. Little icing on the cake. That's good. The point is, I'm not lying. I just tell people, I want to go to heaven that bad. Christians want to go to heaven that bad. And so we're absent from the Lord. So until then, verse 7, we walk by faith and not by sight. We quote this verse all the time. What does it mean to walk by faith, Mike? What does it mean to walk by faith? That's it. And of course, the majority, Mike or Joe? That's it. And so Mike was talking about just trusting in God. Well, how do I know what God said? Well, go to His Word. Walking by faith isn't like going, I hope He likes it, I hope He likes it, I hope He likes it. That's not walking by faith. That's called wishful thinking. What walking by faith is, oh, this is what He wants me to do. I'm going. Hey, where are you going, Chuck? Well, I'm doing what He said. You're walking by faith? Yeah. That's not walking on uncertain ground. You're not walking with doubt. You're walking with confidence. Because walking with confidence means walking by faith. It's not a blind faith, folks. It's not a blind faith. People walk with blind faith all the time thinking, Are you going to heaven? Well, maybe. I hope so. Where's the confidence? It's not arrogance. If you are walking by faith, if you're saying, look, here's what the Word says. I'm just doing what it says. That's all. I'm not being arrogant. I'm not saying I've earned my salvation. I'm just saying, here's what the Word says, and I'm just abiding by it. That's what it means to walk by faith and not by sight. Jane?
One thing that I always think about, I'm not doing God's purpose. He said, well, go you want to go to heaven. Well, you know what he's saying today. If you don't know, maybe years from now, what really going on.
Exactly.
So, you have to go, like, you know who you are.
We just studied in the Wednesday night class the parable of the sower, right? People say, well, I'm the good ground. You could be thorny or the rocky ground. You'll only know that at the end of time. If you're faithful till death, right? And so I could be a faithful Christian. Have you ever known anybody that would be a faithful Christian for 50 years and turn their back on it? I've seen it. Who does that? A person that stops walking by faith. You start walking by sight, and you're looking at, well, that shouldn't have happened. Or why did that happen? Or why am I getting old? I can't believe I got cancer. I can't believe she left me. I can't believe he left me. I can't believe they did this. I can't believe I was stabbed in the back. I can't believe I can't. Look, bad stuff happens. Walking by faith helps you deal with it. And that's it. Is it a coincidence he used that on the Sermon on the Mount? You know, early on in his earthly ministry, he brings that point into play. Not coincidence at all. And then verse 8, we are confident, yes, well pleased, rather to be absent from the body and to be present with the Lord. Now that's a question we need to ask ourselves. Could you say this? Ask yourself this. Could you utter these words? Or is Paul talking about you? Because he said we. Would you, if Paul was preaching this or writing this to you, say, hey, Paul, you talk about yourself. Don't include me in that we. Would this be you in there? We are confident, yes, well pleased, rather to be absent from the body and to be present with the Lord. Did that include you? I hope so. I hope so. Because that's the whole goal, that you and I want to be with the Lord. And have that kind of assurance, have that kind of confidence of knowing that we can be with the Lord and that the way that we're walking right now is pleasing to Him. Hebrews 11:6, without faith it's impossible to please Him. A person that's walking by faith. Well, we need to just put those two together, right? This verse and Hebrews 11:6. If it says here, we walk by faith and not by sight, and then it says without faith it's impossible to please Him. If you're walking by faith, are you pleasing God? 100%? There's no doubt. If you are walking by faith, you are pleasing God. If you're not walking by faith, then what? Can you say that? You're not pleasing God? Yes, you are not pleasing God. Who made you judge? Who made me judge? Look at that. We have the scriptures that give us the guidelines of how you and I are to walk, how we are to live. We are to, early on in this chapter, talked about putting to death the old man. TJ's passage there. We died with Christ. Now we live with Him. Christ gave us the perfect example. Okay, we only have three or 4 minutes left here, but let's read 9 through 11. And 2 Corinthians 5, 9 through 11. Lee, do you have it? Just go ahead and read all three. Every section today was sermon. Just good stuff to get. You know, that's why I love Bible studies, guys. I prefer a Bible study over a sermon any day of the week. Not saying we shouldn't have sermons, but I'm just saying that this stuff is rich. We get into it. We get into the meat of the word here. And here's another section. And I'm telling you, folks, we could spend a lot of time on each one of these verses, especially verse 11, which we're going to get into next week, Lord willing, and talking about evangelism. There's that burning desire to reach the lost within you. Maybe it's because you don't think about the terror of the Lord. Then verse 10, talking about us appearing before the judgment seat. We're going to talk about Judgment Day next week, and we'll spend a little more time on that one. Look at verse 9. You got 2 minutes to talk about verse 9. The therefore, all that he's just been talking about there, longing to be with our Lord, putting off this earthly tabernacle. Therefore, we make it our aim, whether present or absent, to be well-pleasing to him. I'm telling you, I like this, because immediately what comes to mind is somebody at their workstation. How do they seem to work when the boss comes? Yeah. Kind of crank it up a notch. Oh, here comes the boss. Man, there's not enough work for me around here. Careful what you say when you come back to hunt you. But people have a tendency to do that. People have a tendency to kind of crank it up a little bit for service to the Lord when? Good one. Crank it up there, right? Real spiritual during those times. Love to talk about the Lord and how much they love Him here. Where else might, or circumstances where they might crank it up? And they feel guilty about something. Sometimes that guilt it's like an overreaction of not making something right in their life. And so they're doing that. How else might somebody be cranking it up? Okay, so when things are down in their life, Lord, I need you, I need you, I need you. But what happens when things are going well in your life? Don't need them, right? It's kind of like the leaky roof. Hey, it's sunny up there. Don't need to fix it down. You know, but when it's raining, that's when we want to fix. And so with us, we need to be careful, whether present or absent to the Lord. No matter when it is, we want to be pleasing to the Lord always to Him. We're never going to let down that guard. That is always our goal. Wherever we are, work, home, play, I don't care where it is. We need to be well-pleasing to Him, and we already know what do you need to do to be pleasing to Him. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Time is up. We'll pick up there, Lord willing, next week.